Missouri 2 years earlier. Melanie LaSalles looked up from her computer and leaned back in her chair, kneading her stiff neck with the tips of neatly manicured fingers. Her small loft office space, like a crow's nest tucked between the rafters of the former warehouse, afforded a bird's-eye view of the open, modern layout of the graphic design studio she managed. In the waning hours of the late winter afternoon, thick shafts of sunlight poured through the wide expanse of antique-leaded glass windows, painting angled patches of saffron on the brick walls of the old building. The light might have been intrusive had it not been filtered through a jungle of flowering plants and gaily colored kite-like sculptures that hung from thick oak rafters and danced in the updrafts. As it was, the sun bathed the towering space in a golden warmth that was almost palpable. She remembered how captivated she had been by this building and the charming St. Louis suburb when she had first come to work in Silver Creek. By Design had been brand new then, the brainchild of Jerry LaSalles, the man who would become her father-in-law. Standing, she tried unsuccessfully to brush the wrinkles from her linen skirt, and went to the sturdy wrought-iron rail that defended the loft from a 30-foot drop. She heard a commotion in the foyer beneath her, and knew without leaning over to look that Jerry had just made his grand entrance. She watched, amused, as he walked through his small kingdom, issuing greetings, admiring sketches, cracking jokes, leaving secretaries and designers laughing in his wake. The supposedly retired owner of the design firm made an appearance nearly every afternoon. "Just to keep my foot in the door," he often told Melanie. "You never know when I might get bored with golf and sailing and traveling the world." She smiled to herself. Only Jerry could get away with such blatant bluster about his ultra-comfortable lifestyle. At 62, Jerry LaSalles had just missed the hippie era. He always said he'd been born a decade too soon, and Melanie was inclined to agree. Even now, he wore his shock of white hair in a neat ponytail, while wire-rimmed spectacles rode low on his bronzed nose, and a tiny gold stud bedecked his left ear. Melanie chuckled to herself, thinking how different the son had been from the father. Her beloved Rick had been as preppy as they came, his dark hair always trimmed well above the collar, his face clean-shaven. In an industry thick with artsy avant-garde types, Rick LaSalle's button-down dress shirts and conservative ties had ironically set him a world apart. It was good, she realized, to be able to feel joy over a memory of her late husband. 2 months ago, the first day of winter had marked the 4th anniversary of Rick's death. Strange how the time crawled at a snail's pace in one sense, yet some days it seemed like she would walk into the house after a long day at work, and he would be waiting there for her, wearing that charming crooked smile and singing little snippets of love songs to her. She was grateful when her thoughts were interrupted by Jerry's footsteps on the winding open staircase that led to her office. "Here she is," he boomed, peeking over the top landing. "The girl who kicked me out of my office." "Hi, Jerry." He took the last steps 2 at a time, and Melanie grinned and leaned to receive the requisite kiss on the cheek. "Is it as nice out there as it looks?" She nodded towards the west, where a bank of windows framed an inviting view of the river. "Even nicer. It must be at least 60 degrees. Not bad for February, huh? Everything going okay?" "Just fine. Would you have time to look over a couple of ads for the Milton account?" He looked at his watch. "I'll make time. I'm supposed to meet Jerica at 5, though. Don't let me get carried away." "Everything is on Suzanne's desk. Why don't we go down there?" He nodded, and she went to her desk and punched in the senior designer's extension. "I think you're going to like what she and Jose have done with this," she told him while she waited for the call to go through. Suzanne's voice came on the line, and she signaled Jerry to wait. "Hi, Suzanne. Hey, can Jerry and I come down and take a look at the Milton stuff?" "Okay. Give us 5 minutes." She dropped the receiver into its cradle and turned to Jerry.